Hello students, welcome to Sri Ramanuja Vidyamandara Temple for Learning. Students, in previous lecture you learnt about that is a biodiversity and conservation and introduction points we discussed. And today's class I'm going to teach you that is a types of things we discuss now. That is a ecosystem, community ecosystem we'll discuss now, student. So the last type it is we discuss about the previous one, ecosystem or community diversity. So we discussed the initially we have two type of diversity we discussed, that is a species diversity and the genetic diversity, and the last one is we call the ecosystem or community diversity. Take a look here in this picture. Okay, so the community diversity or ecosystem diversity, it is a differentiated into, there are three types only. So what are they? So the first one you can see this is called the alpha diversity community, and the second one is called the beta diversity community, and the third one is called the, what is that? That is a gamma diversity of a region. So this is about the information about the gamma diversity and alpha diversity and beta diversity. Next, let us see what is their importance about the alpha, beta and gamma. So what is that? According to the Whittaker, okay, you know already who is this Whittaker. So the R.H. Whittaker is a father. It is a proposed the five kingdom classification. So the same person, R.H. Whittaker, he classified the three types of the ecosystem. What are they? The alpha diversity, it is simply represent alpha diversity. What does it mean? It is found within the community and depends upon the species richness and evenness. So what you understand here is that, student, so the alpha diversity, it is mostly depend upon there are two things, it is that there are two property, the species richness and the species evenness. These are the two process we can observe in the species diversity. So finally what we observe in the alpha diversity, it is a form of the species diversity, it is occurs, it is in the community itself. Let us talk about the beta diversity. It appears two between community, that means two alpha community, one alpha community and another alpha community represent, that is a beta diversity, right? So coming to the gamma diversity, it is a regional diversity that shows the total richness of the species in all the habitat found within a region, geographical area of landscape. Alright, students, so what about this is I'm talking about, this is about the total richness of the species. That means all the beta and alpha would be comes under the gamma diversity, right, student? So coming to this diagrammatic representation once again. So students, you can see this line is indicate what is it represent, alpha diversity, and let us see, this is about this is also alpha diversity, and this alpha and alpha, these two is considered as what is that, the beta diversity. The beta diversity means one between the community, what is called the beta diversity. So the whole community represents what is that, gamma diversity. So this is represents what is the, student, ecosystem diversity or community diversity. So you need to remember one point here, the alpha diversity community, it is more number of the, what is that, the species richness and species evenness that we can observe in this condition. Right, student? So let us move to the next topic in the biodiversity and the conservation. Let us talk about the patterns of biodiversity. What are the patterns? This is a very important point, student. The biodiversity shows latitudinal and altitudinal gradients. Okay, latitude and altitude. Okay, this terminology you already know that. Okay, biodiversity, it shows these two property now. Let us see, the biodiversity increases from the pole to equator and decreases with increases in the altitude. This point is a very valid point, because of it is a very important point for, well, they're asking about the biodiversity point now. So definitely NEET exam will come in the, for example, this statement definitely will come in the, that you can see that they will give you a NEET exam statement 1 and statement 2. So the statement 1, for suppose it is given like this now. So the statement 2, it is something, it is a biodiversity shows the latitude and altitude like that. So both statements is a correct statement. So that is a very very important now, student. So this type of information, it is a very very important and valid for the NEET exam for the for the concept oriented condition. So coming to this point, it is that the biodiversity increases from where to where, student. So for suppose you can see this is a earth, right? So the earth, we can see this is a north pole and this is about the south pole, and now we can see this is about the equator, right? So this is called the equator. So what they're talking about that, it is a increases from the poles to equator. So poles to here, pole here now, and south pole and north pole, poles to equator, and here also poles to equator. That means north pole to equator. That means here what is that, the biodiversity increases, and south pole to equator also increases the what is that, biodiversity. Next, it decreases with increase in the altitude. Whenever the altitude is increases, the biodiversity would be, it is decreases. Students, this is a very very important point now, you can keep in your mind. So next one, it is a biodiversity is a maximum in tropical forest, moderate in temperate areas, and minimum at the poles. So this is a very important point, student. Tropical forest, okay, we have so many forest is there, no, deciduous forest and tropical forest, and so many forests we'll discuss. That is a part of in the ecology, because in the ecology we'll discuss detail, no, right? So the tropical forest is more, and moderate temperate areas, a temperate forest also it is moderate, and very minimum at the poles. So here we can observe here that north pole and the south pole, here the biodiversity would be, it is a very minimum. Next, the maximum diversity is occurs, the best example it is Amazon rainforest of South America. Very very important point, student. So what is the maximum diversity? It is what is the example for in the following? The answer would be Amazon rainforest of South America. I hope you understand about this Amazon rainforest. Last year 2019, we had the Amazon rainforest. It is came into the news. Why? Because of it is there is a burnt is going on. Went to there is all the forests would be burnt because of something. A fire will be happen now in the fire would be happen in this Amazon rainforest. Lot of animals are died. Okay, so that's why it is came into the news in the last year, right? So the Amazon rainforest is the best example for the maximum diversity. It is located in South America. So approximately how many species of the plant, how many species of the fish and animal, etc. You can see there would be the 40,000 species. It is belong to the plant, and 30,000 species, 3,000 species belong to the fish. 300 is belong to the birds. 427 is a mammals. 427 is a amphibians. 378 reptiles, and more than 1,25,000 it is belong to invertebrate. Students, this is a very very important question also here also, right? So they will ask here the plant, students, and fishes also, and they will ask about the amphibians and mammals number and reptile number, right, student? So this is, you need to concentrate the number of the reptile and mammals and the birds and the plants is very important. Okay, so where this number, what is indicated of this? The number it is found in Amazon rainforest. I hope you understand these points it is. So this is about the pattern of biodiversity. If you observe the pattern of biodiversity, these 2 points you need to remember. That means whenever the increasing in the altitude, the biodiversity would be decreased. From the poles, from the pole to equator, always for suppose you can see north to equator, north pole to equator, it is a increase. Similarly, the south pole to north equator, it is also increase. That means this 2 arrow, it represents what is that? Increase biodiversity. Increase biodiversity. Right, student? So I hope you understand these points it is, right? So let us move to the next slide. So the reasons of higher diversity in the tropical areas, we are already seen. Okay, what is that? The tropical forest, it is having the more number of the biodiversity. That means rich number of the species we can observe in the tropical areas. Why? What is the reason it is, student? Why it is the tropical areas more biodiversity happen? Let us discuss about these 3 points. It is frequent glaciation. Okay, the formation of ice formation is called that glaciation. Frequent glaciation was quite common in temperate region in the past. So if you're taking about the temperate areas in the past region, there would be the frequent glaciation. That means the formation of the ice would be, it is a very quite common. But right now what happened it is, you can see this type of disturbance was absent in tropical altitude. Therefore the species continue to flourish and evolve undistributed for millions of years, and thus and had a long evolutionary time for species diversification. So finally in the earlier time there would be, it is a frequent glaciation is occurs, but coming to the, I mean, there is a certain changes is happened. What happened? This glaciation, the frequent glaciation is stopped, and as a result there is a continuously, what happened is that there is a organism populations would be populated more, and finally what is that, there is a millions of the species will be developed and years and ago, and finally there is a had a long evolutionary time for the species diversification. That means a species formation is occurs, right? So this is the first reason. Second reason, you can see there are no unfavorable season in the tropics. What we are observing now, there is a winter season, summer season, etc. So the season would be, it is a constant for every time, right? So that's why there are no unfavorable season in the tropic. And the tropical environments are less seasonal and more constant and predictable. Okay, less seasonal. That means we cannot observe any seasonal pattern in the tropical environment. So the more constant for the temperature and the predictable, it is a very constantable temperature we can observe. So that due to this point, it is that due to importance about the constant environment we can observe in the tropical area, what will help it is helps to gain more niche speciation. Niche. Okay, ecological niche. I hope you are already studied about the 10th class. There is a very beautiful concept you are already studied, that is a ecological niche. That means it is a formation of the species in a particular environment is called a niche. It is that. So they will discuss that what is the meaning of ecological niche, right? So in niche speciation for the tropical organism and the greater species diversity. That means one organism to another organism, it would be differed in the form of the morphological features, in the flying pattern, and the terrestrial habitat and the food habitat, etc. So that's why it is a greater species diversity we can observe because of this temperature. Next, finally what happened is that environmental stability. Okay, so when the environmental stability occurs, whenever there is no seasonal here we can observe no, and there is no changes we can observe no, there is no everything, the temperature and everything would be, it is a constant only. Obviously the organisms also easily adapted to the particular environment. So and finally what happened in this case, the tropical forest would be the environmental stability. So students, because of these 3 reasons, there would be, we can observe there is a higher diversity we can observe in the tropical areas. I hope you understand points, right? Let us move to the next. Why we are, for example, there is a one person is observed, no student. So he predicted a graphical representation how would be the species area. Here, for example, Alexander, the person is called the Alexander von Humboldt. Okay, Humboldt. Actually, he observed that there is a species richness in a particular area. So based on the species richness in the particular area, he extrapolate a graphical representation. It would shows what is that there is a species richness in a particular area. So he implemented a particular formula, S equal to C to the power of Z. So that formula, it is represent the species richness. So let us talk about the contribution about the Alexander von Humboldt, right? So he proposed that the relation is called species area relationship. So I am the species, okay, and I am occupied in a particular area. So what does that relation? I am the species. For suppose one species, for example me as a consider as a species in this particular area. What is this area and species relationship? That relationship is identified by Alexander von Humboldt. So let us talk about the importance about this. He exploring the wildness, okay, wilderness of the South American jungle, and observed that a species richness increases with the increasing the explored area, but up to certain limit only. So what he observed now is generally in the South America jungles, he observed there are a lot of species diversity he observed now. So that species it is to be shows species richness. That species richness is increased with what happened? Increase with the explored area. So the increased area and species also increases. But that increased area, I mean explored area also, it is a considered as a up to only a certain limit, not as a maximum. Next, the relationship between the species richness and the area turn out to be rectangular hyperbola. This is a very important. Now I can see student, this is about the linear curve, like rectangular hyperbola graph. You can see this graph, it is rectangular hyperbola graph. This rectangular hyperbola for a wide variety of the taxa including birds, bats, freshwater fishes and or flowering plants only. So this hyperbola indicating the lot of organism. What are they? The birds, bats, freshwater fishes and flowering plant. Right student? So he actually the Alexander von Humboldt he taken as a on the x-axis it is a taken as an area, on the y-axis it is taken as a species richness. So finally he extrapolated the one graph actually. This is a hyperbola. If he applied the logarithm scale to this hyperbola and convert into a linear line. Now you can see log scale. If you apply to the log scale to the hyperbola diagram, then finally what is that? Log s equal to log c plus z plus log z log a. Okay, so this is about the what is the student importance about the species rich area relationship. Let us move to the continuity part about this one only. This relationship is linear on logarithm scale. Okay, students, you can observe no student. Okay, without logarithm this is a hyperbola. If you apply the logarithm to this hyperbola, it will be converted into log s equal to log c plus z log a. So this is indicate the what is the linear. When the linear it will come, okay, the linear is came to because of if you apply to the logarithm now. Right student? Next you can see this relation is a linear on a logarithm scale. You can see. So log s equal to log c plus z log a. So what does it mean? The s is including here. S is nothing but species richness. Z is nothing but slope of line or regression coefficient. Right? Regression coefficient in the maths you can very important this point now. Or simply slope of line. Okay? And y equal to y intercept. A equal to c equal to y intercept. A equal to area. Students, this is about the importance about the SCZA. Right student? Let us move to the what does it mean Z here? Right? Z. Right? What does that mean the Z here now? Students, now you can concentrate here. The value of regression coefficient are nothing but Z. It is a value, it is given, it is that 0.1 to 0.2. Right? It is a Z value. It is a regardless of the taxonomic group or region. So they will ask one question here now. What is the regression coefficient value? 0.1 to 0.2. What it indicate? It is a taxonomic group of our region. when we are discuss about the species area relationship for a very large area like entire continent, right? Entire continent, the jet slope will be what is that, much steeper. That means the jet value would be 0.6 to 1.6. Okay, so why they are giving the value? It is that, for suppose the z value in, if you are assume in a particular region, it would be very less. That means 0.1 to 0.2. Or if you are observe the entire continent in the world, so that would be the z value. It is 0.1 to 0.6 to 1.2. This is about the value indicates a regression coefficient or slope of line indicates z. Let us talk about the example for frugivorous birds. Frugivorous means the birds are eating fruits is called as frugivorous birds. And mammals of the tropical forest, okay, at different continent, shows the different continent, and the slope line is the steeper with the z value would be 1.15. I hope you understand this point now. So there is a certain organisms are available in a particular, in a different continent. So in the different continent, the slope of line is would be that means the z would be 1.15 only. Students, you need to concentrate about the formula and the regression coefficient. Initially what is the given no, and finally another one it is. I hope you understand this point, student. Let us move to the next one. Next, up to now we discuss about there is a increasing the diversity, and there is a lot of increasing chances are the reasons we discuss now, and the same time there is a person the species area relationship also we discuss, right? So now we are going to what are the reasons of loss of biodiversity. So it is a main importance, it is that it is a happens due to extinction. Extinction means the last animal died on the earth. So simply you can see it is the total elimination or dying of the species from the earth. Okay, so this is called that extinction. That extinction means last animal died in the earth. According to the IUCN abbreviation, International Union Conservation for Nature, right? So this is what does it mean? International Union of Union for Conservation of Nature. International Union for Conservation of Nature, that simply represent IUCN. He included the book called Red Data Book, or simply is called as RDB. Okay, Red Data Book, or simply is called the Red Data Book. They told that Earth has lost some 784 species during the last 500 years. That including that 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, 87 would be it is a plant only, right student? So IUCN actually they included that there is a red data book list. So in that red data book list, that is a last 500 years, what is the total would be the 784 species would be lost. So what are those species include? 338 vertebrate, 359 invertebrate, 87 would be it is plant only. So these are all things is nothing but extinction only. Next, in the last 2 decades, the 27 species have been become extinct. Okay, last 2 decades also the 27 species also become extinct. So this is also what is that? It is a big diversity. It is a big changes happens now. Let us talk about the recent extinctions in the world. Dodo Mauritius, or simply is called the bird, it is a dodo, and thylacine or Tasmania wolf, Australia, and quagga of Africa or South Africa of zebra, Stelis sea cow of Russia, and the 3 subspecies of the tiger, that is Bali, Javan, Caspian. So these are all organisms is recently extincted. Because of this is the best example for loss of biodiversity. Next, at present time there is a 15,500 species worldwide are facing the threat of extinction. That means it is ready to face the extinction. So in which 31% would be the gymnosperms, 32% would be it is the amphibians, 23% would be mammals, and 12% would be it is at birds. So here what you understand, student, there would be at the present time, the recent time right now, the 15,500 species ready to extinct, and that percentage it is given as a percentage, it's not at all number. Next, the current rate of extinction is very high, student, that is 100 to 1000 times faster than pre-human times. The pre-human times means that is a ancient human days, ancient human period. Okay, so that in this one case, that right now that extinction rate it is very higher. So these students, this all this leads to because of the human activities only. So next, it is considered as the 6th extinction point. This is a very important point. Due to human activities. Human activities such as, what is that? Construction of factories and destroying the healthy forest, right? So these are all activities, because of, as a result, all the extinction species, the species would become extinction. So if you prevent this type of condition, we have to concentrate, what is that? We have to improve the biodiversity regions in the world. Okay, so then finally, and we have to know about the species, what are the species are available, and we need to protect. So under human activity, human proper care only, we need to protect all these organisms. It is, students, this is about the loss of biodiversity. Student, let us move to the next slide. If loss of biodiversity, what is responsible? For example, loss is occurred in a particular area, so what is responsible? You can see there is a drastic changes is happens in the ecosystem process, like water use and pest and diseases cycles, etc. So what is that? Water use, whatever we are using the water cycling, no, okay, that is a disturbing is occurs, no. Pest, there is a continuity, pest is increases, no. At the same time, diseases also rapidly is increases now, right? Next, reducing the ecosystem productivity. There is agriculture, okay, agriculture, and at the same time birds and the activity of the birds and the other animal. Okay, ecosystem productivity is gradually reduced because of loss of biodiversity. Reduced resistance to environmental perpetuations like drought. Okay, because of the drought also what happened? There is a reduce the resistance. Okay, so because of these reasons, what is that? Loss of biodiversity is responsible for all these things. It is. Next, what is the causes of biodiversity losses? Very important point, student. They will ask about the 4 important things: habitat loss and habitat fragmentation, over exploitation and exotic species invasion, co-extinction. Students, what is that? These are the 4 important features. This is a major cause of loss of biodiversity, right? Some other factors like, what are they? Disturbance and degradation of soil, pollution, intensive agriculture, forestry, and intensify extinction species. These are all responsible for causes of biodiversity, right, student? So this is about the, let us discuss about the each and every important points it is. Now let us talk about the destruction of habitat. You can see habitat fragmentation and destruction. You can see habitat loss, destruction, or and habitat fragmentation. Now we're talking about this point only. Habitat loss or degradation and habitat fragmentation. So habitat loss, destruction of habitat, how it is happens due to expanding population. Now we can see the cities, right? In the city there is no gap, actually there is no trees available. So if obviously there is no tree, no birds, no species richness we cannot observe here. And development of more in the industrial areas. Now I can see if you observe the industries areas, like in that also there is no biodiversity. Urbanization, formation of what is that, there are so many buildings, okay, and more area for agriculture. For suppose nowadays that a forest is actually replaced by agriculture. Now I can take an example of the Amazon rainforest. Amazon rainforest is some of the part it is replaced by forest. Sorry, Amazon rainforest is replaced by some agriculture process now. So that is also what is that distraction is happens now. And in the construction of the new roads, canals, dams is a primary causes of extinction of species. So student, this is a major changes what happen, it is a causes of extinction of species, right? So let us talk about the tropical rainforest once occupied 14% of earth only. Today they occur only 6% of land area. See, these are big drastic changes happens from 14 to 16% only, 6% only. So what is this changes? This changes is happened because of entirely human activities, right student? Let us talk about the habitat fragmentation. Up to now we discuss about there is a habit distraction. Habitat fragmentation decreases the core area and increases the edge area. So what are the core area? That means the organism is to be there, no, that habitat fragmentation is reduced. That is also because of natural, and increasing the edge area or peripheral region. Let us see the example once here. The all natural grasslands of USA, United States of America, have been lost due to agriculture and human settlements, right student? So what are the core area? The core area itself, what is that? The more number of the species richness we can initially observe now. And what happened is once that human activity and human activities and agriculture and human settlement is to be, it is happens in the core area, the decreases of the species richness and increases the what is that edge area, and finally habitat fragmentation all occurs here now. Students, this is about the first point about the loss of biodiversity. Next, the other one is that you can see the second one. You can see the first one we discussed now, the major causes of loss of biodiversity, habitat loss and habitat fragmentation we discussed. Now the second one is that over exploitation. Now you can see over exploitation means the size of population of any particular species, as a result it become endangered. Okay, the size of population of any particular species. Okay, so what is that? If it is a over exploitation, it is a reduces or decreases the size of population of any particular species, as a result become endangered species now, are vulnerable species, are facing the threat of extinction, right? For suppose you can see human beings is hunting the animals, it is a become endangered or become vulnerable or become facing the threat of extinction. We can take an example of hunting animals and collection of medicinal plants. Generally human beings are collecting these medicinal plants in the forest, they depend on the forest. So finally that is also loss of biodiversity is occurs. Excessive tree felling in the forest and overgrazing. So overgrazing is also phenomena. Excessive tree felling in the forest. These are all activities happens in the forest, and finally what happened? Reduce the size of population of any particular species. That's why it is that any means any, it is that disturbs to the any species also. As a result, those species would be become extinct or vulnerable or endangered, right student? Let us talk about the exotic species. This is a very very important point now. Exotic species may cause the disappearance of native species. Okay, disappearance of the native species, that means local species. there is a what happened, it is that water hyacinth, it is also called as Eichhornia crucips. Eichhornia crucips. So student, this is a, I hope you understand water hyacinth. It is already known as, what is that? Terror of Bengal. Very, very beautiful word it is that. It is also called as Terror of Bengal. Why we call it as a Terror of Bengal? I will explain. Right? So you can see the Terror of Bengal means, so in the Bengal water, actually the water hyacinth is it is growing for a decorative purpose. But this water hyacinth, actually there is a secret, a poison. That poison, it is a very, very damages to the fishes of Bengal water. So that's why the water hyacinth, it is considered as a terror of Bengal. This point is a very, very valid for the NEET point of view. Right, student? Let us move to the next one, is that Latana camerana. This is another plant. Euphotorium odantrum, it is also another plant. And Parthenium hysterophus, it is a carrot, scientific name for the carrot or Congress grass. Nile, okay, Nile perch, African catfish, okay, this is the animals. And Clarius garipennis, threat to native catfish, okay, so that is called the Clarius pateractus. So students, so these are all exotic species example because of happens what is that, exotic species only, right? So up to now we discuss about the loss of biodiversity, student, right? Next, the other importance, it is that co-extinction. What does that mean? Co-extinction. The meaning of the co-extinction, it is that, now I can see there is a certain obligatory mutualistic relationship exists in the nature. What does it mean, obligatory mutualistic relationship? For suppose mutualistic relationship means one organism, it is a depend on the other organism, and this organism also depend on this organism for their mutual benefit. I will give you one example for you. What is that? Here is that you can see Pronuba eucacella. Okay, Pronuba eucacella is actually, it is a one type of insect. It is a depend on the, what is that, yucca plant. Let us talk about the Pronuba insect. Actually, why it is a depend on the yucca plant? Because of the Pronuba is actually the male insect. It is a depend on, it is attracted towards the yucca plant. Why? Because of here yucca plant, the female reproductivity part, it is a resembles to the Pronuba insect only. That's why the Pronuba insect male, it is a move towards the yucca plant. So here what happened is that it is a collect, the both are benefited to each other. So this is also benefited to each other and this is also benefited to each other now. So that's why it is a mutualistic relationship, right? So there is a certain obligatory, very rare it is that mutualistic means both are benefited to each other. The meaning of the mutualism means both are benefited to each other. Here the Pronuba eucacella, nothing but insect, it depend on the yucca, and yucca it is a give to the shelter to the insect only, right student? Now you can see the extinction of one will be automatically cause extinction of other. So this is a very, very called as co-extinction. So whatever you are observing now, for example, because of one of the organism, it is a possible or causes of extinction of other organism. For suppose you can see I am the one of the organism, I am interacting with the other organisms, like what has happened now, that organisms, but for example that organism will be ready to extinction because of this organism. Or else you can see there are two organisms or appears now, A and B organism. Because of A organism, B organism ready to be extinction. So this is a process, we call it as the co-extinction, right? The co-extinction is happens only that in the process of mutualism property only, right student? Let us talk about the one more important point, student. Again, IUCN, you can see International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, okay, and WCU, it is called the World Conservation Union. Okay, so these two process, these two union, it's maintaining the book, including the certain catalogs. What is the catalog? What is the threat of plants and animals facing the risk of extinction? So what are the organism of plant or animal it is ready to face the extinction, that all the extinction properties of animal and plant it is to be preserved under the IUCN and WCU and red data book only. Right, student? This is a very very important point it is. Next, threatened species are indicate the T. They have become extinct. Okay, if they are not provided with the proper habitat, food, protection. Okay, so for suppose if any organism is not provide the particular things, habitat, food or protection, that is ready to be become extinct. So let us talk about the one more important point, student. In the year IUCN, International Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources 2000, the red list performs the assessment of 18,000 species, out of which 11,096 species. So in that 11,096 species, but it is belong to include 5,485 animals and 5,611 include the plant. So that is on the threatened list in the worldwide. So out of this, 925 animals and 1014 plant species are critically endangered. So these things, this phenomena, this concept, this prediction, this analysis is given by IUCN 2000 red list performance. I hope you understand today's class, student, right? So the next class I am going to discuss about the distribution pattern about the biodiversity. Thank you, student. Thank you all.